Welcome to Warhammer Warscroll Review. Another 2nd edition review, this time featuring the Beastclaw Raiders unit, the Icebrow Hunter.
Warscroll Review.
To be honest, the Icebrow Hunter is one of the least interesting models in the Beastclaw Raiders faction. But with the new edition of Age of Sigmar, this model will be a bit more useful. First of note is this model is one of the only models in the faction that is not on 4 legs. This makes the guy pretty sluggish when compared to other Beastclaws. The model sports a 6-inch movement. Luckily he does deploy from reserves, so he won't be stuck in the back lines while everything else moves forward. Defensively, the model has 7 wounds and a 5-up save. He's a character and not a monster, so he does benefit from Lookout Sir, but good luck to him finding a nearby unit with 3 or more models in a Beastclaw army. Apart from allies, units with 3 or more models are pretty uncommon within the faction. The model has 2 ranged weapons, the Hunter's Crossbow and Great Throwing Spear. Both weapons are short range, single shot weapons that hit on 4s and wound on 3s with damage D3. The spear has Ren -1, but is a bit shorter range than the crossbow, 9 inches as opposed to 12 inches. The throwing spear has a special rule that allows the hunter to run and shoot, and deal D6 damage instead of D3, and increase the weapon's range to 18 inches. This is a pretty neat ability. The best time to use this is when the hunter's movement leaves them over 9 inches from the enemy. Shooting both the crossbow and uncharged spear is better than shooting just the pumped up spear. The hunter has another special ability that has it sacrifice its shooting attacks to deal D3 mortal wounds to a unit within 6 inches on a roll of 4 up. I'd probably opt for this anytime I can. It's worth noting that neither the Icy Breath nor the Great Throwing Spear can be used the turn the model deploys from reserves. The Icebrow Hunter also has a melee weapon. The model's club offers 4 attacks, at 4s to hit, 3s to wound, damage 2. Nah. The Icebrow Hunter is the cheapest character model in the Beastclaw Raiders army, so it certainly does have a use. Place the model in reserves and put it where you think you will need at the double and forward to victory. The Icebrow Hunter could be the player's general to give bigger bubbles for command abilities, and even go in reserves to inject the buffs exactly where they are needed and to keep the general safe. Unfortunately, the decent amount of wounds really won't keep the model alive, so hitting the model or saturating the enemy with targets is the best way to keep them safe. If the player was to take the Icebrow Hunter as the general in a Beastclaw Raiders faction, they would benefit from a few command traits. Avalanche Voice goes along with the strategy of pumping out command abilities. This would increase the range of the model's command abilities by 8 inches, making the generic ones 20-inch range. That's pretty awesome. Everwinter's Master might still be the best command trait though, allowing the player to reroll the Everwinter's Blessing, Beastclaw Raiders battle trait. These abilities really don't help the hunter a whole lot, but they do help the rest of the Beastclaw faction. Whether the hunter is the general or not, they could have an artifact. None of them really benefits the model too greatly, but the Bleeding Skull of Dragar would give the enemy an unbind, which are hard to come by for Beastclaw Raiders. You can't talk about the Icebrow Hunter without mentioning Frost Sabres and the Skull Battalion. I have a Warscroll review for the Frost Sabres, so be sure to check that out for more details on the models. While they are within 16 inches of the hunter, they increase their bravery by 2 and their charge range by 3. Inside the Skull Battalion, that includes the Icebrow Hunter and 2 to 10 Frost Sabre units, the cats would be able to deploy in reserves with their master. Deploy the Sabres 9 inches away from the enemy and 18 inches from the hunter. Keep them within 16 inches of the hunter to add 3 to the charge roll as well. With this buff, it is pretty likely to make that 9-inch charge. For added insurance, keep the hunter within 6 inches of the Frost Sabre or 12 inches if it is the general to reroll the cat's charge rolls with forward to victory. While Frost Sabres are not that devastating in combat, having them engage key enemy units, and thus keeping them from shooting, advancing, or even engaging another target can be very influential to the flow of the game. The battalion is relatively cheap in total, so it might not hurt to add a couple extra Frost Sabres and an Icebrow Hunter to pull this tactic off multiple times. Icebrow Hunters are best in a Beastclaw Raiders faction, but don't really excel at anything. Apart from being cheap and being able to go in reserves, the Hunter doesn't offer much that other Beastclaw Raider heroes don't. The Icebrow Hunter receives a 2 out of 5. The model really doesn't offer much the Beastclaw Raiders need. While this Warscroll does rank somewhat low, don't let that make you overlook the usefulness of the Skull Battalion. What do you think of the Icebrow Hunters? What are you most excited about for the 2nd edition? Let me know your suggestions, questions, and thoughts in the comments below, and thanks for watching.